Live from the WJLA Broadcast Center, this is ABC 7 News at 6. On your side.
Good evening. We're following two major stories tonight: the heat wave in Washington and the crisis in the Middle East. Good morning. Thank you for watching the Weekend Morning Report. I'm John Hamilton. The district's roadways turned deadly for one woman just before dawn this morning. This was the point of impact right here in the middle of this country road. At 3:50 yesterday afternoon, the SUV was traveling eastbound. A small Piper plane was coming in for its descent on this private airfield. The NTSB is here investigating. Inaugural Day is known as Game Day for those of the military. They'll be wearing their full dress uniforms, not the camouflage they wore for today's rehearsal. Leon, I don't know if the perfect gift and last-minute shopping go together. We're here at the Boulevard at the Cap Center, and there's still some pretty good lines behind me at the bookstore. But I want to tell you, this has been a pretty manageable day, but a highly caffeinated crowd. As investigators continue to look into the $250,000 fleecing of marshals, they've now identified a 22-person ring of thieves. Well, the sign says it all: welcome home, Montgomery County's finest. The first group of these finest arrived here a few hours ago. The second group is due back tonight.
John Hamilton is live tonight. John, this is a very exciting time for them.
Well, this is as good as it gets. You know, imagine a world champion returning home. Who would have guessed it would be the McLean Little League girls softball team? Lawmakers asked U.S. Attorney General Alberto Gonzales about the National Security Agency's warrantless eavesdropping program at a hearing today. Earlier this year, the Justice Department's Office of Professional Responsibility, or OPR, said it couldn't pursue an investigation into the program. Today, Gonzales told lawmakers the president blocked it.
Did the president make the decision not to clear OPR?
As with all decisions that are non-operational in terms of who has access to the program, the President of the United States makes the decision.
Last December, the New York Times disclosed the program, which allows the government to intercept international calls and emails from terrorist suspects. D.C. Mayor Anthony Williams is meeting with council members this evening, looking at ways to stop the outbreak of violence in the city. Jennifer Donlin is at the Wilson Building with the latest on the D.C. crime emergency.
John Hamilton is live at the West Falls Church Metro Station. John, what did you see out there today?
Well, there was some increased security with additional sweeps of buses and trains, but Metro riders don't think that's enough. The London attacks today showed us that despite increased security, mass transit is still an easy target. Outside the Farragut North Metro Station, a large police presence left a nervous public wondering if something like London could happen here.
I see all the officers there, and I have to take this Metro home tonight, and scared.
The show of force was all part of increased security to protect a vulnerable mass transit system.
It makes me feel very secure. I have a lot of confidence in the workers in our police force, and I'm glad they're here.
But this above-ground show of guns and badges didn't reduce the fear of underground attacks for many Metro riders.
People getting on with backpacks and things like that, it's been kind of scary.
With backpack bombs the weapons of choice on London's underground, one security measure under consideration here is random searches with the option to turn people away.
It's because you have so many people carrying so many things. Half the time I'm carrying an item or another, a bag, a backpack, a briefcase, and so it's really hard and you never really know.
Two out-of-town Metro passengers have a special perspective on today's events. Louise and Alfred Goldsmith are visiting from London.
I grew up during the Blitz in London. Nothing's going to stop me going where I want to go.
If your number's up, your number's up, but chances are very small, let's be honest.
Well, that British resolve is echoed here. No one we spoke to will be avoiding mass transit. In the meantime, these security enhancements, they'll be taking place in New York City. They're going to begin random baggage searches of folks entering their subway system. The Metro officials here are considering the same sort of a plan. In the meantime, they ask for passengers to be vigilant, to be on the lookout for any suspicious activity. Live in Falls Church, John Hamilton, ABC 7 News. It's the talk at the pumps. While drivers continue to struggle with the high price of gas, oil companies report record profits.
Everybody's taking a hit, and they're taking a gain. It makes no sense.
Third quarter financial filings show that BP profited $6.5 billion, Shell $9 billion, and ExxonMobil $9.9 billion. It's the highest quarterly profit ever. Consumers were told the run-up in gas prices was a result of disruptions in supply due to hurricanes in the Gulf.
I think it's absolutely absurd.
You have the people in New Orleans, you have the people down there suffering from Katrina, and to use that as an excuse to raise the prices to what they did, and then say that the $10 billion profit has nothing to do with that, yeah, I'm somewhat outraged.
Oil companies downplayed their earnings, saying it's due to strong global demand and tight supplies.
We might need more refineries here in order to get the prices down.
If reaction at this Exxon station is any indication, oil companies may be monetarily wealthier, but they are a lot poorer in another important indicator, public opinion.
They should lower the prices, obviously.
All this has caught the attention of Congress. Hearings are being set, and oil executives are expected to testify. Some Democratic senators are calling for a windfall profit tax. They want big oil to hand over all excessive profits. In Rockville, John Hamilton, ABC 7 News.
John, tell us where the debate stands tonight.
Well, we had a vote early this morning, actually 2:30 a.m. The Planning Commission voted not to set up a site for the day laborers. This parking lot here in front of the 7-Eleven in Herndon serves as sort of a drive-through where people come and try to hire day laborers. Sometimes there are over 200 sort of undocumented workers waiting for hire. And as you can see, the city of Herndon now is very divided over this issue. When cars and vans come looking for workers, they get swarmed. Some folks are fortunate and get picked. Herndon, a town of 22,000, has had an influx of illegal immigrants.
They are not going away. And, you know, if in the wisdom of the town, in the end, they decide they don't want to put a formal site, these guys will still be here.
What to do with day laborers? It split the Herndon community.
I think the Spanish are great people, are hard workers, but legal, not illegal.
They can get them a little center where they can stay inside and, you know, basically get something more organized. I think it would be a good idea.
But the Planning Commission thought otherwise, giving opponents of the day laborer site a victory. But the issue isn't over yet. On August 16th, the Town Council will take its vote, and it has the final word. In the meantime, these workers will continue to come to the 7-Eleven looking for work. Live in Herndon, John Hamilton, ABC 7 News.
John Hamilton's in the newsroom. He's got more on that part of the story for us this evening. John?
Well, there's Gallup and Harris and all the news polls carefully conducted by statistical geniuses, extrapolating voter preferences, crunching numbers, and coming up with potential winners. Well, with these polls splitting down the middle on who will be president, we surveyed offbeat presidential predictors, many of which have very good track records. And the winner is? With neither candidate having a clear advantage in the polls, let's look at these other less scientific predictors. Height. The taller candidate usually wins. Advantage, Kerry.
It's ridiculous. Why is that an indicator?
Wartime. All 5 presidents who have run for re-election during major wars have won, from James Madison's War of 1812 to Richard Nixon's Vietnam War. Advantage, Bush.
Depends upon the popularity of the war.
The Redskins. When the Redskins lose their last home game before the election, the incumbent loses. Advantage, Kerry. Kids' votes. Kids surveyed by the Weekly Reader have picked the correct president since 1956. And Nickelodeon's kids have been right since 1980. This year, one will be wrong. The Weekly Reader picked Bush and Nickelodeon broke for Kerry. Advantage, even. Halloween masks. Mask sales have been an accurate predictor. BuyCostumes.com reports that Bush's mask outsold Kerry's 53% to 47%. Advantage, Bush.
With my kids, they're usually picking the scariest one, so I would say more people were trying to be scary this year with Bush masks.
And there you have it. And the winner is? It's still a toss-up, so forget the polls. With the rise in first-time voters combined with early elections in some states, this is the least predictable presidential election in recent memory. Live in the newsroom, John Hamilton, ABC 7 News.